Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Willie, and this is the encouraging word for today. Murder, anger, divorce, adultery, lust, lying, hatred, and so much more. Sounds like a novella, like a soap opera, but it's the Bible. And that's what I love about the Bible. That's why I know the Bible is real, because it deals with real issues that people face. Hard issues, difficult issues. It's not like a fantasy book like the books of many other religions. It deals with life as it is. And Jesus, when he gathered his team, started teaching them how to deal with their emotions and their natural desires. You see, you can be a very talented person. You can be a very advanced person educationally and in every other way. But if you don't know how to deal with emotions and desires, they will eventually destroy you. And we see people falling from positions of authority, positions of power, because of different types of issues tied to natural emotions and natural desires, because Satan seeks a foothold. And if you don't know how to deal with those things, then he will have an area of access, and he will wait to the most inappropriate time, appropriate for him, inappropriate for you, to destroy you and the people around you. So Jesus is starting with basic lessons in Matthew chapter 5, 6, and 7, basic lessons about our emotions and about life. And Peter is there, and we're on the encouraging word, we're walking in Peter's footsteps, so to speak. So we're listening to what Jesus said as if we were sitting next to Peter. And Jesus starts talking about sexual desire. Well, this is a religious book. We shouldn't talk about that in a religious book. What kind of religion is that doesn't deal with reality? So he talks about sexual desire. Sexual desire is a normal desire. It's given by God for the purpose of recreation, for procreating, producing other generations. Otherwise, mankind would die out. That's the purpose. It's tied to that purpose. Be fruitful and multiply. So sex is normal. Sexual desire is normal. But it must be done within boundaries. So Jesus is giving them boundaries. Now, one of the 10 Commandments is adultery. And most of the religious leaders at that time saw that as the boundary. Well, if I don't commit adultery, I am doing fine. That's the boundary. But Jesus wasn't going for that. Jesus goes for the root. People like to follow rules. It's easy. But Jesus goes to the heart. Change the heart, and you don't have to worry about following rules. That'll come naturally. So Jesus goes to the heart issue. Now, Peter and the other disciples, most likely, I believe, were in their 20s. And that's the height of the sexual drive in men and in women. So he starts out, and this is what Jesus says in Matthew 28. He says, first of all, he says, you've heard that it says about adultery. Do not commit adultery. All right? Then this is what Jesus says about that in Matthew 5:28. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. In his heart. You see, lust is the issue. Adultery is the fruit of a lustful heart. So Jesus, again, just like with murder, he gets to the root issue. It's really all about lust, not really about adultery. So the best analogy I can think of is fire. Fire. Fire is good. We use it to cook with, to heat homes. We use it for light. But it must be controlled within appropriate boundaries. If fire gets outside of the boundaries, it is one of the most destructive forces known to man. Think of that town in Hawaii totally destroyed, or the forest fires we see out west in the United States. Total destruction. So it consumes lives, consumes property, consumes everything in its way. So Jesus focuses on the lust, not on the adultery. And in verse 29, he says, gouge out your eye, cut off your hand if that's causing you a problem. Now, should we literally, if I'm looking at wrong things, rip out my eyes, make myself blind? Of course not. Jesus is using an exaggerated expression to make a point. And the point is that this is serious. When I was little, I used to actually like to play with fire with one of my cousins. And I had to learn that fire is dangerous. It's dangerous. And so we must learn that lust is dangerous. I learned don't play with fire. And we must learn don't play with lust. Understand that it will burn you and it will burn others. Lust is the problem, and it's a serious, serious, serious problem, and it will destroy you. You know, people see like a leader of a church or a government or something suddenly falling, and it seems sudden. It's not sudden. They fall into adultery, or usually adultery or some other type of sexual sin. And people say, wow, it's sudden, it happened unexpected. It wasn't unexpected. I guarantee you there was a lust problem before that, maybe for years. And it just manifested in that fruit. Now, I know I'm speaking to some people who are listening today. So what do? We treat it seriously, as if we would gouge out our eye. That's how serious, because it's going to destroy us. I mean, sometimes if you get cancer in your eye, you know what a doctor will do? They'll cut out your eye to save your body. That's how serious lust is. And you must take it seriously. You start by admitting, I have a problem with lust. Admit it. Don't be in denial. So many people want to hide it. When you hide it, Satan works with it, and he will destroy you at the most inappropriate time for you. So what do? I'll give you a little bit of advice. Number one, don't feed it. Whatever you feed will grow. Starve it. Starve it. So never look at pornography. Never. Never go to places where you will be tempted with lust. Never hang around people who you'll be tempted with lust. Have boundaries. Myself and my wife do not go to any movie, no matter how good it is, if it has sexuality in it. We just don't go. I've missed a lot of very good movies, but I won't go. I won't expose myself to that kind of material, because I don't want lust to come up in my heart. So set those boundaries for yourself, particularly in media in our day and age. Ask God, give me a pure heart. Ask God to break it if you have that problem. Get an accountability partner. Come out of the closet, so to speak, and admit you have a problem. And remember lesson number one, that Jesus taught Peter and the others. Humility. Humble yourself. Know your weakness. When you know your weaknesses, you become strong. Ask for help. Get accountability. Remember the consequences. Remember the consequences. If you're married, remember the consequences of lust. Remember how it will destroy your family. I've seen fires destroy homes. So when my wife and I leave our house, we always stop to check the stove to make sure it's off, to check the radiators that are electrical and anything electrical, making sure it's off. So deal with the root issue, which is lust in your heart. Fight the good fight. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with other people. Confess that sin, because lust is the sin and it will destroy you. Don't give Satan a foothold in your life, because he, my friends, will take that foothold. And I know many people have already opened that door, and it's time to be serious and close the door to lust in your life. God bless you, and I will see you tomorrow.